Hi there, I'm John Nichols with SIG SAUER Electro-Optics. I'm product manager for our open reflex sights. So I wanted to run through some of the history of our reflex sights, some of our current models, and some of the models that we'll be coming out with very soon. Our first reflex sight was the Romeo 1. Basically that was made for all of our classic RX pistols, our X5 line, some of our classic line RX pistols as well. That was a unique, what we call the Romeo 1 footprint. Since then, all of our full-size guns have been cut with the newer Pro slide cut. So all of the guns moving forward will have the same footprint, which is basically the Delta Point Pro footprint. In order to have an optic that filled that entire slightly longer footprint and to accept the wider M4 mounting screws that go into that footprint, we designed the Romeo 1 Pro. Along with that, we upgraded some features. So it comes standard with the steel protective shroud in the box. We upgraded the housing from magnesium on the regular Romeo 1 to aluminum on the Romeo 1 Pro. It is about 2 millimeters longer to fill that Delta Point Pro slide cut, which means the Romeo 1 Pro is not compatible. It's too long with those older RX pistols, but we still make the original Romeo 1 for customers that still have those RX pistols. As I mentioned, the Romeo 1 Pro is not backwards compatible with the older RX guns because that slide cut is shorter for the original Romeo 1. Likewise, if you have an original old Romeo 1, although it will fit on all those older RX pistols, it actually cannot mount on the new pistols with the Pro slide cut simply because the holes in the Romeo 1 body are not wide enough to accept the M4 screw that all the slides are cut for. So the M4 screw that the Army spec'd out for their slide cut in their M17 pistol are too wide to fit through the original Romeo 1. That uses a standard 648 slimmer screw. So although it fits within the footprint of the new Pro slide cuts, the holes in the housing are too narrow to accept that larger screw. So we're going to leave the Romeo 1 Pro in our line for as long as we possibly can to help customers out who still have all those older RX cut guns. But as I said, all of our pistols moving forward have the new Pro slide cut, and so you'll have various options for reflex sights on newer pistols. Another feature, we added a new point source emitter, so that gives you better battery life and a brighter dot. Top loading battery, so you never have to take the optic off the gun and to change the battery, so no re-zeroing or anything. And this currently retails for $399, the Romeo 1 Pro. It's available now, and like I said, it fits all of our full-size pistols. They all run the same slide cut now, the Pro slide cut, so it's compatible with all of them. So that's our Romeo 1 Pro, available in black and also in flat dark earth. Our 365 pistol, our P365, has been immensely popular, so we knew we needed an optic cut just for that, or made just for that pistol. So this is our new Romeo Zero. This is made in our facility in Oregon. It is a polymer housing, a polymer lens, 1632 battery, which loads from underneath, so that keeps the footprint very small, very low. You can get it really low into the slide cut here on this P365 XL, which means that with the molded rear sight notch on that Romeo Zero, you get a perfect co-witness with your standard front sight on your P365 XL. So if anything happens to your dot, if it goes down, you still have backup iron sight picture through your window. So some of our competitors use an ambient light sensor in their reflex sights rather than a manual brightness adjustment or in addition to a manual brightness adjustment. What we found in analyzing that is that there's really a lot of situations where that is not ideal. If you're in a dark environment shooting into a light environment or vice versa, your dot is reading the light around the reflex sight and not around the target. And there are just so many scenarios where that can really affect your dot brightness for the situation that you want. So we have a manual brightness adjustment button on all of our reflex sights, including the Romeo Zero. So right behind the lens, there's a small rubber button. You can just reach in there with a finger and change your brightness levels. There are 8 brightness settings on the Romeo Zero. So it goes up to the top, blinks to let you know you're at the top setting, and then subsequent pushes of the button will lower all the way down to the bottom and blink again to let you know you're at the bottom setting. So we like to give the user the control of the brightness of the dot rather than having the reflex sight try and do that for you and mess up that situation. This is ultra lightweight. extremely slim, so it matches the slide profile of the P365. It's less than an inch wide, and tested to 9mm plus P ammo for thousands of rounds, up to 5,000 rounds of 9mm plus P on a micro compact gun. It handles that just fine with very minimal shift whatsoever in point of aim, point of impact. The Romeo Zero retails for around $199. That is available now, and it will be coming on certain 365 pistols. So those will be the 365 RXZ pistols, will come from the factory with the Romeo Zero mounted and zeroed right out of the box. Our competition optic, this is one of them here. This is the Romeo 3 Max. This was designed with input from our champion shooter, Max Michel. So very high-end Japanese glass with special coatings to give this an optimal sight picture. So huge field of view, really clear glass, a very, very crisp, precise red dot, available in 3 MOA or 6 MOA, as all of our reflex sights are. A 2032 battery which loads from the side, and that side loading battery is secured with these screws. So during a competition, there is no chance at all of under recoil your battery door coming out and you losing the dot. So retail on this, I believe, is $599 for the Romeo 3 Max. We also have the Romeo 3 XL, which is exactly the same. It just has a different shaped lens. So instead of being a round hoop shape that the Romeo 3 Max has, the XL has a more square, wider field of view, a full 35mm field of view on the Romeo 3 XL. That's our competition optic. The one we're really excited about is our upcoming Romeo 2. So we have basically 3 configurations here on the wall. The Romeo 2 comes as a standard open reflex sight. You can add a half shroud, which is a hardened steel shroud that protects the optic from drops. We are speccing this out for a 5-foot drop onto bare concrete while mounted on a pistol without damaging the optic. So it's a sacrificial shroud. That's the half shroud that you can run. That will come in the box. And the other option that comes in the box is a fully enclosed stainless steel shroud with a clear polycarbonate rear lens. That seals the optic up completely. So one of the big complaints about reflex sights, these open reflex sights, is that if anything gets in front of your emitter, you lose the dot. So if you drop it in a mud puddle, if it's raining, snowing, whatever, interrupts that emitter, you can lose your dot. This encloses it, so that takes that out of the equation. So other features of the Romeo 2, it is also made in our facility in Wilsonville, Oregon, so 100% US assembled. It has a rear suppressor height sight built into the housing, which will co-witness perfectly with a front suppressor height sight. If you have that on your gun, you'll get a full sight picture through your window, not just the very top of a front sight, but an actual full sight picture. Recessed power buttons, so in a duty holster, you won't have anything accidentally activating your power buttons, your up and down brightness adjustment buttons. There's also a side loading battery tray which can be accessed with just any tool, a key, a pen, a fingernail, push it in there and your 2032 battery pops right out from the side. Easy battery changes, no little tiny Allen wrenches to lose, no screws to come out. So that's our Romeo 2. This is definitely meant for duty. This is a duty rated optic, mil spec. It'll be IPX7 and as I said, drop proof from 5 feet onto concrete. So built very tough, and we're really excited about that one. It'll have 15 brightness settings, including 2 night vision, maybe 3 night vision. We're still kind of messing with the settings, trying to get it just right. And we should be launching this at NRA show in April. And then we hope to be shipping this by late summer. So look for it August, September. Has the same footprint as the Romeo 1 Pro, so that's the standard Delta Point Pro footprint. So anything out there that takes a Delta Point Pro or Romeo 1 Pro, all of our new pistols that have that Pro slide cut will also fit the Romeo 2. And as far as fit, holsters, any duty holster that will take a Romeo 1 or Romeo 1 Pro with the shroud on it will also accept the Romeo 2. So a lot of the Safariland duty holsters, some of your large rugged holsters out there, you don't have to worry about holster compatibility. The Romeo 2 will fit as well. So that's what we have currently in the line and what we have coming up for reflex sights. And yeah, that's pretty much what we have here at SHOT.